Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to beautiful Chiang Mai. Specifically, I'm up in the Mae Rim area. And I never thought in 1,000 years that I would travel 9,000 miles across the ocean to bring you to a cafe called the Thingamajiggy. Yep, this right here is called a Thingamajiggy. And I'm gonna take you around and I'm gonna show you the kind of coffee they have. And I'm gonna tell you about my trip to the United States and what I mean about the cost of comfort and convenience. So I'll see you up there at the coffee. Yeah, so this is just a nice little coffee shop next to a rice field with a beautiful view of the mountains. And yeah, I just thought I'd bring you out here to talk about my trip to the United States and talk about the cost of comfort and convenience. So what am I talking about? So let me take you from the top. So I fly from Chiang Mai to Orlando, Florida, and I go to rent a car to go to Lake County, which is about, I don't know, an hour and 15 minutes from the airport. And so I go to rent a car and they say the price of rental is $180 US a day. And so I just happened to kind of, my law enforcement retirement credentials kind of fell out on the counter. And then the guy go, "Oh, you're law enforcement?" I said, "Well, I'm retired." And so he was able to bring that down almost in half. And so I did rent a car. I drove back to Lake County, and on my way, I'm driving down the Florida Turnpike, and I see the plaza that has Dunkin' Donuts coffee. Now I haven't had Dunkin' Donuts coffee in a long time, so I said I'm going to stop there and get a cup of coffee and get me a sandwich and then take it on to the house to go stay with my friend Keith. So I go into the Dunkin' Donuts in the plaza and I buy a large coffee and a breakfast sandwich, and it came to $14 US, something crazy like that. Yeah. So I'm getting all kind of anxiety going on there, but man, they got it out right away. It was convenient, it was comfortable. And so as I drive on to my destination, everything becomes familiar. The closer I get to Lake County, where I did 26 years in law enforcement, things look familiar. Even the signs are in miles. So I knew how many miles, not kilos I had to go, it was miles. So I'm getting into that comfort zone. So I make it to my friend's Keith's house, and it was really nice. It was comfortable to be with a friend. He even invited some of my old workmates that I had worked with over the years there the next day, and just being in that environment was very comfortable. And I can see why people retire, and they retire where they live a lot of times, because you have that familiarity, and it was very comfortable, and I was really enjoying myself. Now as I go out to the next day, as I go out to kind of just ride around, see how things are in Lake County, I could close my eyes and I could remember all the roads that I used to patrol when I went down those roads. But then I decided to stop by the store and get myself a bottle of water. Now this is a 16-ounce bottle of water, and it was $2.79. So by now I'm kind of fluctuating between the comfortable, the convenient, and how outrageous this is. I'm standing in the store, I'm watching people pick up small bags of potato chips that are $3. And I thought I was in a Twilight Zone episode because it didn't bother them. I guess they had normalized it, but it was driving me a little crazy. Everywhere I went, it was comfortable. Everybody spoke the same language. I walk into a store, everything's familiar. Everything's where I remember it being, whatever aisle I wanted to go down. And I decided to do this experiment. So I went into Home Depot because whenever I needed something for the house, that was my go-to place, go to Home Depot. And I walk in there and everything was as I remembered it. I even ran into a guy that worked there and I said, hey, can you tell me where the shower heads are? I just wanted to have a conversation with him. And it just so happened, this was a guy that recognized me right off the bat. And he said, hey, Deputy Jones, do you remember me? You were my school resource deputy when I was in middle school. And he was probably 27, 28 years old. And we sat there and we chat for a while. And man, I started to continue to get lulled into that comfort zone. I went over there. I looked at the shower heads and I talked to people in the stores. I walked by, hello, how are you doing? And I felt how comfortable that was, and it felt good. But what I realized was, man, this is good. I can walk into the store and get whatever I want to and no problem. And I compared it to Home Pro, which is, well, Home Depot, Home Pro, they're both these stores where you can get pretty much whatever you want to for your home, be it appliances. If you're on a construction site, you need, whatever, lumber, you can get that, plants, had everything. But the thing about the Home Pro, what I had to stop and reframe and appreciate is that if there's one person you ask them, they don't understand you, 4 more people will come up to you and between the 5 of them, they will figure out what you want and they will get it for you. So it's that extra effort. I think I say this to say this right here. Comfort came with a price. I took my mom out to lunch to get crab legs. Now, when I lived back in Florida, every weekend I would go see my mom almost every weekend and we would go get crabs, or I would take her to get a steak, something that she didn't have the means to get for herself. I would do that. And I remember paying $105 for 3 clusters of 3 crab leg clusters, 2 corn on the cobs, 12 shrimp and potatoes in a big bowl. And I didn't mind paying that. I mean, it blew me away because I hadn't paid that kind of price for meals in the 2 years I've been over here. But I paid it because she is mom. And so you get used to paying certain prices for things, and like I said earlier, it becomes normal. So for dinner, I said, I'm gonna break it down. I'm gonna run through Taco Bell, get us each a taco meal, 3 soft tacos, 3 soft chicken tacos, got her a Diet Coke, I got me a bottle of water, and that was $24 US. So I'm going back and forth with, being familiar with everything, speaking the language to everybody, but then paying high prices for this. And I realized how easy it is to get caught up in the comforts of home, whatever Western home that you come from. And it made me think, this is why it's so hard for people to either leave the United States or their Western country or move back really quick, because comfort feels so good. It feels very good, feels very familiar. But what I also realized that I compared it to the sirens and the sailors, if you know what I mean. Now, the myth or the legend has it that these sirens, which were like females on top, kind of like were mermaids, females on top, either fish or bird, on the bottom half of them, and they would use their voice and they would lure the sailors with their voice, and the sailors would end up crashing their boats, their ships into the rocks, and then they would literally be devoured by the sirens. And I thought in terms of the United States a little bit like that, because we get lured into that comfortable space, and it feels so good, but in the end we're stuck. For many of us in the middle class, which I believe is disappearing, the middle class is disappearing, that we get stuck there and we don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to move to another country. I'm comfortable here, but I got to pay the price for this comfort by struggling and living paycheck to paycheck. And you know, I just think I wanted to share that with you because I understand the struggle some of you are going to in deciding whether you want to move over here or not. There are some of you who told me that you could never live in another country because of your kids, your grandkids. I understand all of that, and that's part of comfort. My job, the thing I do on this channel is not to convince you to come over here to Thailand or any other country. I want to tell you my journey, share that with you. I want to tell you the headaches, because there can be some headaches, but I will tell you this, and I've said it in other videos. To me, it's choosing comfort over growth. Now, I want to be comfortable over here, and I'm comfortable to the point where I have everything I need, and the little things like language barrier, I work with that. It's a little uncomfortable, but my growth is happening out of that. And I just want to share that with you, that there's a price that comes with comfort, with convenience. So thank you again. I'm gonna show you around here. We got someone over here singing. I hope you're able to hear me with this. So I'm gonna show you that right there. What's going on here? The Whatchamajiggy. The Whatchamajiggy Cafe. Let me show you what's going on.
Sunday morning, I never want to leave. Sunday morning, I never want to leave.
All right, that's all I have. I just wanted to give you my take on my little adventure back to America. I loved it, got to see a lot of friends, got to go back into a place that I spent a career at. It came with a price. It was an expensive trip, but comfort is a good thing. It can be your friend. It can also be a foe. It can stop you from experiencing things that I think everyone should experience in some part of their lifetime. But thank you for joining me. I appreciate it, and I'll put the link to this little restaurant here, and I will see you in the next video.